I am Tracy Mara. I am campaign chair for Terry's campaign. And I think we will go ahead and start things off. And I would like to introduce you first to Jamie Stevenson, who is the Darien Town Selectman. And if Jamie can go ahead and kick things off, that would be great.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here in support of our wonderful state rep, Terry Wood, for the 141st District. Terry is a longtime dear friend and colleague of mine. And I have to say that I'm so pleased that she's willing to throw her hat back in the ring for another term up in Hartford. I really couldn't do my job without her on a day-to-day basis as Darien's first selectman. We literally speak to each other every day about important matters that are happening here in Darien and around the state. And Terry's ability to bring people together to solve problems on the behalf of our community, the Norwalk community, and the state in general is unique among her peers. And I'm so thrilled that she's willing to stay up there and fight for the needs of our towns and our state. So thank you for the opportunity to be here and to support my dear friend and colleague, Terry Wood.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much, Jamie, and thank you, Tracy, for coordinating this and for being willing to step up and serve as chair. It's been great. I think we've got a great group put together, and I'm tremendously energized. I also want to thank Jamie for the introduction, and both Jamie and Tammy, because we do work together almost every day. Well, every day with Jamie, and often almost every time we're exchanging text message communication with both of them. I couldn't do my job without both of them. And I'm so grateful to work with two women who are so honest and forward and absolutely do the job with grace and grit. And it's been a joy. So thank you. And to Carl and Alex, wow, great. I think we've got a tremendous organization. It's very exciting to be all working together to see the state come back to balance. So I thought I'd say a little bit about who I am, those in the press who may not know, and also why I'm running, and then the key priorities for this year. I grew up on the west side of Cleveland. My parents' foundational lessons to all of us was the importance of integrity, honesty, and personal responsibility. And those were early and often. It's just who they were and how they grew up. They were both affected by the Depression very much, and those were lessons that you don't forget. Listening well was also a skill that was reinforced often and early. Parents practiced quite well. So I was also raised with the belief that we could do anything we wanted to do. The other thing I remember hearing a lot from my parents and all my parents' friends was, we don't need government to do for us what we can do for ourselves. And I think that's one of the fueling things that keeps me going in Hartford, is I see these things that are happening that we shouldn't have government be doing. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. I met my husband Jay in college. The first night I met him, married him that night. We were engaged days later, and 46 years and 3 kids later, he's a blood life. He'd grown up in Darien and Rowayton, and so I've lived in both communities. He has lived here in both communities, and I've lived in both communities. So all 3 of our kids live in the area. Our oldest daughter lives in West Norwalk, and she is an account manager for an experiential corporate marketing company. Our second daughter is a practice manager for Stanford Hospital for 2 medical practices. And our son is a financial analyst here in Darien. And all 3 of our kids did post 53. And I'm so grateful for the lessons they learned in that organization. It's a tremendous organization. Okay. Thing about kids, raising kids, I think serves any legislator well, because when you raise kids, you don't come out with an instruction book, and you have to navigate a lot of issues, situations along the way. And we did have 2 kids with disabilities, and it given me an insight into some of the things we can be doing educationally better. Our one daughter is, oh, the dogs. Sorry. One daughter's dyslexic, and I've worked on a lot of legislation around dyslexia. So when I was asked to run for state rep, I was asked to run because I had done a lot in the community. I'd founded a nonprofit environmental group. I was on the Darien Library Board. I was president of the Darien Land Trust and put together more properties than all the other presidents combined. And I was very proud of that because I brought people together and to solve issues. There would be transactional issues that I was able to manage, and I always felt good about that. And the other accomplishment I'm always very pleased about is having worked with Susan Marks and another woman, Kathy Rishman, on co-chairing the referendum to get the new Darien High School built. And largest margin of victory, largest voter turnout in a referendum in Darien. So those things about doing something positive for the community in a local way. So why I'm running, I love Connecticut. There's so many positives about Connecticut. I think I don't run into anybody who doesn't love living here. But we're not in good shape, and we all know that. The state has been fiscally mismanaged for the underfunded pension liability. The unions are running the show, and the benefits far exceed the private sector and any other state in the union, and we have got to modify those. We do have an opportunity this session, I believe, this upcoming session. So I believe strongly in fiscal responsibility, and that I support individual choice on social issues. And on the government side, the top-down, heavy-handed government, that's the ruling mantra in Hartford these days, and it simply is not effective. It's not working. It doesn't respect the individual voice, the grassroots. I mean, the school regionalization proposal is an example of that, and it's not what this country was founded on. So I have this deep passion to continue that voice of moderation, practicality, and respect for the individual. The key priorities for, I've got 4 of them that I'm running on this election. We've got to continually evaluate and address the coronavirus pandemic. It's something we've never seen before, and we will continue to need to navigate that and make sure that people are taken care of, but yet we open up the economy at the same time. We must ensure state funding addresses responsibly our education for our K through 12 or PK, pre-K through 12. We've got to make sure we maintain quality education for our young adults because they're the future. Reopen our state. The third one is reopen our state and local economies. And today, May 20th, after this Zoom call, I'm going down and doing a little shopping downtown because the stores are open. I'll be wearing a mask and I'm using hand sanitizer. So we need to continue to look at ways we can open the economy back up because the devastation that our state will experience without doing that is not going to be good, the state and the people in the state. And last, we must set our state on a path of fiscal sustainability. And that's where, as someone said, there's a silver lining, or never let a crisis go unused. And this is an opportunity for us to address our financial situation, our overspending, and where we're overspending, the people who need the money the most, they're not seeing that. So we need to rebalance how we spend, what we spend, how we spend. I definitely look forward to being a voice on that. So I know we can accomplish all this by working together, and that's what I've done in the past, and I look forward to continuing that. So I'd love to have any questions from the press or any of you, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Terry. I think before we move on to the press, I know there's a couple people that would like to say something. And so I would like to turn it now over to Carl Dickens, who's the RTC chair in Norwalk.
Thank you, Tracy, and good morning, everyone. And good morning, Terry. I think the timing on this is so perfect today that you're announcing, because it is the rebirth of Connecticut today. And there's never been a time in our history, particularly in the state and anything else, where firm leadership with a clear head, clear heart, clear mind is needed. You're that candidate. And I'm pledging to you all the support that we in the Norwalk RTC can muster will be behind you 100%. And we wish you nothing but the very best.
Thank you, Carl. And now we will move on to Alex Davidson, who's the RTC chair in Darien.
Well, thank you very much, Tracy, and thank you, Terry. On behalf of the Darien Republican Town Committee, I can say that we're thrilled that Terry is running again. For the 141st House District. Terry enjoys well-deserved popularity, bipartisan support from Darien voters, because she's proven time and again that she cares about the well-being of her constituents, about Darien and the great state of Connecticut. If we had more representatives in Hartford with her integrity, compassion, and competency, our state would not have been a fiscal disaster going into a global pandemic, and we would have been better prepared to weather the resulting shutdown. In these times of troubles, we in Connecticut must come together to make tough decisions that position our state for success rather than failure. Terry personifies the sort of prudent, thoughtful, inclusive leadership that we need now. Thank you, Terry, for the work you've done thus far and for the hard work that lies ahead. We're with you with thanks.
Thanks so much, Alex. Well said. And last but not least, I would like to turn it over to Tammy Langalis, who's the commissioner in Rowayton.
Thank you, Tracy. And Terry, congratulations and thank you very much from the 6th Taxing District for your willingness to run again. It's a huge time commitment and we really appreciate all your efforts. I've known Terry basically since about 2008. She reached out to me as a commissioner, and ever since then, we've always had a great working relationship. Terry is very approachable. She listens to not only the concerns of the commissioners of the taxing district, but also to residents. She likes to meet new people and hear what they have to say. And I think she always is working towards a solution for everybody and in a nonpartisan way. And I think that's really important in these current political times that we're in. And we're all very concerned about the state of our state. And we do love it here. And it is a wonderful place to live. And I'm very appreciative of all the work that she does up in Hartford and down here locally. And I wish her all the best. And I'm 110% behind her. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy, and thank you all.
Thank you so much. And I think I can, if I can figure this out, I can turn it over to if there's anybody that's that's on as an attendee. If there's any questions, I can open up the floor. I think what I'll do is I will just unmute all of the attendees in case there's any questions.
Do we know who the attendees are? Oh, Jill. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Harold and Sandy. All right, thank you for being here. Thank you, Harold.
No questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Sandy.
All right, well, so thank you everyone for attending. And you have any questions, please, you all have my email and obviously you have your link to Terry. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you all very much for taking time this morning to do this.